Welcome to our next video in the Aeon Trespass Odyssey playthrough. In our last video, we did a battle with Hecaton 3, and that was on day 55. We're now on day 61, so there's a little bit of a time gap in between the two videos. That's because I decided that I'm not going to do a video for every time I play Aeon Trespass. I'm going to do them maybe periodic, either by actual real calendar time for me, or maybe by some in-game amount of time, some regular frequency or something like that. I'm not sure how I'm going to do it yet, but doing the videos, even though I'm not really doing editing afterwards, I found that it just takes me longer to play. I think it's a lot because I'm actually explaining everything that I'm doing and maybe taking more time as I'm going through each decision, and especially in the battles, talking through everything. So anyway, I think I'm going to enjoy the game more if I am not recording everything that I'm doing, but I do still enjoy doing the videos, but trying to find that balance there. So let's cut over to the map view and talk about what has happened in the last, basically in-game week since our last battle. I just finished a battle with Hecaton 4. So that is what we're coming out of. The reason that I want to do this video now is because I think we're gearing up to do another attempt at the Pursuit's End battle. And so I want to kind of go through leading up to that. Like, that might end up being our next actual combat encounter. So we will see. But yeah, okay, so let's cut over to our Argo tab and get an overview of where we are at now. Most of the stats are about the same. I think we have a net loss of crew since we last left off. I think I was at 4. I went up to 5, and then I lost a handful of crew in between like 1 or 2 adventures. Let's see, in the story card, we've made a ton of progress. We are close to the max 12 progress tokens on that card, and that's why I think we're getting kind of close to being able to do our next attempt at Pursuit's End battle, because if I remember correctly, I really want this reward for something that might happen once you get to 12 progress tokens, so we'll see. But let's see, we were already at 20 out of 20 Argo knowledge, so no changes there. Let's see, in terms of Titans, we are at 8 Titans. We lost a Titan in our last Hecaton 4 fight. Yeah, we got a little bit loose with the positioning and had a Titan fall off the edge of the map. But it was okay, it was a relatively quick fight anyway, and we got another core from Hecaton. So we're now up to 4 cores from Hecaton, 0 from Labby at this point because we spent them on the Mazimer. But yeah, here's a look at the current standing of the resources tab. I haven't fought Pursuers since the last Pursuit's End battle. We've been able to keep them at quite a distance. Like, I don't know if you can see very well on the map, but we are up here in the top left. I've been kind of like zigzagging up here, and the Pursuers down here. It's been kind of a combination of a few times I've gained Argo Fate to reduce his movement, and a few times it's just been him not activating during the exploration phase. We haven't really gained any Doom, right? Yeah, I think there's maybe been 1 or 2 times where I was at risk of gaining Doom in the last few game days. At least one, because I know we passed by a map tile that had Doom on it, and I know that one I was able to spend an Argo Fate to roll, and that might have actually been the only Doom that we even had that we were ever at risk of getting. So that's not bad. Let's see what else. Through in terms of technologies. I do still need to finish the current day. I need to do my combat research here, so we will get to that, but I want to finish catching everything up. Argonauts. Oh, we finally got one node on our Fated Nemos for Anacreon. Amazing. I wish I noted down what day he got this Fated Nemos, but he's had this at this point at least half of the game days that we've been in. I'll have to go back because I think he got it pretty early on in our playthrough videos there, but he finally got a node. I mean, at this point, I think he's on the rate of probably going to retire without that getting resolved. But whatever, this one is not a terrible Fated Nemos to have anyway. I think I've gotten kind of used to it. We haven't had any Argonauts retire. Surprisingly, Oleander he's been on the verge of retiring, but he hasn't gotten another node yet for that final Nemos, the final spot for his imprisonment Nemos. Though we did have a day, on day 58, we had a number of Argonauts kind of hit milestones in their Nemoses. Let's see here. Technology, don't think there was much in terms of technology. We did, so I actually don't remember if this was, we did not have the Mazemer when we fought Hecaton 3. So we did get the Mazemer. I will show that weapon. So this is our upgraded version of the Maze Mace. I haven't used this booster seat since I've moved my dice around here, but it's okay. We'll make this work. Go here. Oh wow, that lighting is better than I expected. I thought with the lights dimmed right now. Maybe I'll have to do the voyage phase like this from now on. I don't know. It's kind of mediocre lighting otherwise. Anyway, yeah, here's the Mazemer. 1 attack die still, but +2 precision, which is enormous. That is such a huge help. And we go from having just 2 black dice to having an additional red die, and at 6 or more danger, you get an extra power. We still have that amazing ability of being able to ignore wound responses, and we have a fun crit miss little, I don't even know what to call it. I was going to say ability, but constant ability, I guess, is maybe the name of it. But yeah, a crit miss effect is if we do that, then we gain 2 danger. So not terrible, and in some cases can actually be useful because, knock on wood, we don't often get targeted as Solon. So he often keeps a pretty low danger, but sometimes having a few danger, like being able to activate those gated effects like that 6 or more danger effect, or even just crit missing once and being able to get access to rush, can be a huge benefit. So I'm not terribly upset about having that crit miss effect. It's not, doesn't intimidate me. The bad part is if you're at 8 or 9 danger and you get that, and then it just forces you to have to draw an obol. That could be a unfun surprise to have to deal with. And then we have this, when we wound, we can gain a fate and perform BP suppress. And BP suppress basically takes all of the BP cards that are in the discard pile and shuffles them back into the BP deck. So that can be good if you accidentally missed on like a bunch of BP1s earlier, but a bunch of BP1s, BP2s, and now you're facing some high BPs in the deck. You can use BP suppress to get some of those lower BPs back in the deck, and that could end up being very useful against somebody like the Pursuer who has very high AT values, and we might want to stick to those lower BPs as much as possible early on in the fight. So yeah, that's the Mazemer. Excellent upgrade to the Maze Mace, which was already a very good weapon. And what else do we need to cover? The reason, so here's what I'm thinking before I get to the timeline stuff. I'm going to wrap up all the nitty gritty of the details of where we're at, then I'll cut over back to like where we're at in the story. Some of the adventure hubs that we went through in the last few game days, and then we'll actually cut into continuing our story here leading up to our pursuits end battle. But what I'm targeting, I think, is I want to at least get one more combat research in, because we need to be able to craft an Earthshaker Titan. And in order to craft an Earthshaker Titan, we need Hecaton Autopsy, is it? Let's see. Yeah, Hecaton Autopsy is what we need. However, we cannot do it on this combat research because we still need to gain Fate Sync. So I'll just go ahead and do that right now as a part of our advancement step. After the battle we just did, we're going to be doing our combat research and gaining Fate Sync. Let me grab that. Fate Sync. I can show that. It's just another Argo ability that allows you get 3 charges on it, and it allows a Titan to lose 1 fate. It can be fine. It has its uses. I think you might find good uses for it in later cycles. I think in the first cycle though, it's just not as good as the Argo abilities that we've been using, like Arrow Barrage, Force Kratos Reaction, and Pursuer Protocol. I think are just overall outstanding. You can find uses for them in every battle, so I've kept to using those. What else? I think that's mostly it. We do have this little sticky tab on Telemachus, that little red bit there that just says, it has text on it that I wrote, just says watched. He has, during one of the adventure hubs, he ended up having to get this watched status. If I remember correctly, there's nothing inherently negative about it. It's just that at some points in the story, you may have some things that are like, if you are watched, or if at least one Argonaut in your party is watched, then here's this negative thing. I don't think there's anything that positive that can come out of it, but maybe there is. Okay, so in terms of story that has happened since our last video, on day 58, we did the Dreams Laid Bare Alpha Hub. Actually, let me give a view of where we're at with those, our adventure hubs. So yeah, day 58, we did Dreams Laid Bare Alpha, where we traveled to the city of Zatozakros to find Nikephoros, who was an ally of Theseus and was with him when he went to slay the Minotaur. The rumor was that after that whole ordeal where she came back from helping Theseus slay the Minotaur, she was scarred and she was just never the same after that, and she kind of had this whole downslide, and not a lot of people keep tabs on her anymore. Not many people know where she is. But we went to Katazakros to try to find her. We had trouble finding her ourselves, so we enlisted the help of the Simici, who we ran into while we were in the city. And while we're doing this whole search, Temenos is rampaging through the city, causing destruction, and we're just like, yeah, we gotta find Nikephoros. So there's a bit of a rushed search going on there, and that's why we needed some help from the Simici. But as we were searching with the Simici, we had a bit of a problem with them, because one of the leaders of that little Simikian party got a little overly aggressive with this woman named Kara, who was somebody who was supposedly friends with Nikephoros at one point, so we thought maybe she had some information, and the Simikian leader was like, ooh, tell me the information or I'm going to kill you, and was getting like very violent with her. And so we stopped him from harming/killing her. And in return, she befriended, I think, one of our Argonauts, maybe it was, Telebrachus. She befriended Telebrachus, which gives him +1 will, which is nice. But unfortunately, she did not know the whereabouts of Nikephoros, and so we kind of gave up on that search while we were there, and we shifted our efforts to helping people escape from the city and try to flee from Temenos. And because we did that, we also were able to make other friends. We just made a bunch of friends on that adventure, but another Argonaut gained, who was it? We had Olympia, who became friends with Cassios and Telos, and that allows her to gain +1 endurance. So a couple of Argonauts got some bonuses to their stats, which was fantastic. Then on day 59, we had another Dreams Laid Bare adventure hub. This was the Among Broken Pottery and Trampled Grapes adventure hub. Or not hub, but just adventure. And this took place near the city of Malia. We found a village of Labyrinthians. These Labyrinthians were kind of being used by the Minoans. I say used by the Minoans, but it was... The Minoans, I think, were, if I remember correctly, they were basically taking the responsibility of distributing all the resources they had to be able to help all the civilians. The Horn Guard was kind of taking this on themselves. However, I think the Horn Guard were also trying to get the Labyrinthians to like do all the manual labor for them. And while we were there, this kind of started to provide some, like the Labyrinthians were very clearly in need. They were not getting all the resources that they needed. So we provided some resources to them. Then while we were there, there was a bit of an uprising that kind of took place where the Horn Guard / Minoans and the Labyrinthians started going at it a bit. And while those two sides began to clash, we intervened and kind of got in between everybody and protected some of the people who were caught in the middle of that whole fight. So not a super eventful hub. I probably just missed some notes there as well. But yeah, we just kind of continue to see some story of some of the animosity that's built up between some of the groups here. Then on day 61, we had the Omega adventure for the Man of Purpose Adventure Hub, where we visited Phaistos. I think that's how you pronounce that. And this place was essentially the staging ground for Theseus's revolution. It was where it was his main seat of power. This is where he gathered all of his lieutenants and his comrades. And while we were there, we basically saw that we had to climb this massive hill. Like this temple that we needed to get to was sitting up on this massive hill, and we had an option of either going above ground and trying to get to the temple that way, or we could go underground where we're going through tunnels that were basically created by a maze quake. We decided to go underground, which led to us finding some Labyrinthians who had, I guess, been in that temple as well. One of the Labyrinthians was talking to us about what was going on, and they basically said that, hey, there are some more pious or fanatical in our group that are trying to sacrifice unwilling people into the labyrinth. And they wanted our help, so we decided, yes, we will help them. That person ended up coming with us to provide some help as well. And when we went up there, we had some of those Labyrinthians go in and work on trying to calm down some of their brethren. However, a scuffle broke out, and our crew also had to go in and help them. That's how we lost some of our crew. While we were in that temple, we found a high priest who had been around since the time that Theseus and Ariadne were still alive. And he basically told us that Theseus and Ariadne got married in that temple. And the priest had told them after they got married, get out of this land, just go live your lives and be free from this whole trial or this whole ordeal going on in Crete. But Ariadne said that she wanted to stay around and help the people of Crete, and Theseus said he would basically make things right. And that night, his inner circle of lieutenants, which are now called the Hornsworn, basically betrayed him and turned him into King Minos. And the priest wasn't really sure why they betrayed him specifically. Supposedly, some people believe it's because after he married Ariadne, he wouldn't do the things that he needed to do in order to lead this revolution anymore, something to that effect. It's not very clear exactly what was going on there, but the Hornsworn, or his close comrades at the time, betrayed him and turned him in. So we're learning bits and pieces more about the story here, where we know that Theseus and Ariadne got married now. We knew that they were in love with each other, but we know they got married. We know that Theseus was betrayed by his own people. We're still trying to find out more about like the story of Theseus and what happened with him, because we know, like, we have seen the grave of Ariadne. We have her grave on board the Argo, and we know that she was the Minotaur. We don't know how literal or figurative that was, but like she was the Minotaur, and all the stories are also that Theseus slayed the Minotaur. And I think that's why it's going to be interesting to progress through this Dreams Laid Bare Alpha Hub, because maybe we'll find out a bit more about like what was that crescendo to that story. What was the thing that kind of led to Ariadne's death? Did Theseus actually kill Ariadne? Did he actually slay the Minotaur? Was she truly this like beast, or did she, I don't know, was she transforming in some way? I don't know. We're getting bits and pieces of the story, but it still leads to a lot of questions, and I think we kind of talked about those questions when we were going through the story hub before leading into the Temenos fight. But on to the current story we're on right now, Unappealable Egress. So we have Ariadne's grave on our ship because it is special in some way, and it somehow is tied to Temenos, where we learn that Temenos is this creature that supposedly came from like another world, another dimension, another somewhere else that isn't here, isn't in Crete. Was described as basically being the shadow of this creature took over the labyrinth, and that's how it became Temenos. And it's here enough that it's causing destruction, but it's not here enough that people have been truly able to kill it. Like we had learned at one point that Phaedra and Akacalos and Deucalion, all these people who are supposedly children of Minos but aren't officially children of Minos, like Minos wouldn't really recognize them as his sons/daughters. Like he basically said he only had one real son, one real daughter, both of which are dead now. So there's no quote-unquote true heir to the Minoan throne. But Princess Akacalos, Princess Phaedra, Deucalion, who we never met, and even Xenodice, who we found aboard the Samaki ship, the Marathonian. We know that there was a plan at one point to be able to take down Temenos. They tried to use a Minos-Manos unit to kill Temenos. The plan worked. However, the net result was not what they expected, because Temenos didn't die because he's not there. And Minos knew this, and so he explained these things to us, but he didn't know how to solve the problem. So people aboard, we basically just said, okay, let's take Ariadne's grave with us because it is somehow special. It somehow has led to this thing being able to inhabit the Temenos, or the labyrinth. And so we took it with us, and the folks in the last academy aboard the Argo, including our main tech leader, we'll call him Alcibiades, basically said we can turn this into something that could potentially maybe anchor Temenos to this plane of existence, and maybe we can finally kill him for good. And so that's what we were trying to get progress towards on this current story card, is that we needed to be able to like find some research to be able to help build that device. And so I think at the 5 progress token mark, we were able to get enough information that we could just go straight to Knossos and take on basically take on the Temenos, kill him for good. But we are right now trying to get to 12 progress tokens so that we can maybe get something that will help that fight even more. Anyway, that was 26 minutes of me poorly explaining things, but we are going to move on with this nonetheless. I'll probably go through that same explanation again before the whole final battle, final story, because I think I'll do a recording for that stuff as well. But let's move on. Let's turn on our lights over here too. Oop, those are the wrong lights. There we go. That's what I want. We are on day 61 right now. We did do our combat research already where we got Fate Sync. We're not going to use it, but we need to continue on with our journey. So I think my plan is to kind of go through and zigzag around here and basically just like bide the time that we need to be able to take on the Pursuit's End battle. If we don't do it in this next attempt, maybe we can get like 1 or 2 more attempts, because we cannot use Sisyphus Tears for it. So I just want to make sure we have some timeline days available that we can do it multiple times if we need it. But I'm hoping we can do it in just 1 more attempt after we get fully equipped here or close to it. Let's see. We will continue going west here. So we need tile number 3, is it? Yes, 3. Gotta keep an eye out for our secret codes. I haven't found any more recently. I don't think I see any here either. Nope, maybe I'm missing it, but I don't see one. We do have a city here and another progress token. So we will only need 1 more to get to 12. Let's go ahead and check off our timeline day here. Jump back over to the map. Oh, and actually something to note about that is that it looks like there's an island here. So we may want to go this way. Because if I go this way, I may not be able to zigzag because I may not be able to go through the island. I don't know if the island may not be that big, but actually looking at this map from Xenodice, yeah, no, it probably does extend those whole set of tiles. So we'll just continue going west instead of zigzagging. Let's see, we'll do our exploration now. We got our Hornsworn fleet. Oh, yeah. Let's take a look at our diplomacy. We've lost some diplomacy with the Minoans, but we've gained some with the Hornsworn. So Hornsworn we are allied with. Oh, okay. We're gonna get our other progress token already. Oh, I gotta mark this one as well. So we are now maxed out on that. So we will see what we get from our story card very soon. That'll come out. We continue that pile though. For Trireme, I have been getting, I think, this shipyard card like every exploration phase, and I have shuffled this in so many different ways, and I can't stop getting it. Pursuer will move a little bit closer to us, but that's okay because we're going to be putting the Pursuit's End battle on our timeline today probably, because it'll occur in 4 days from the current time. Okay, and we are on a Hornsworn tile right now. Let's see. Ooh, we're gonna get a Titan. That's always welcome. Add a new Titan. And then chosen Argonaut gains 1 rage. Ooh, that could be very useful. Who do we want to gain that rage? I've moved Olympia to kind of being one of my 2 tanks, I'll say in quotes. So Oleander and Olympia are kind of my 2 tanks. I would like to give it to Oleander, but I'm a little concerned that he could retire very soon. Yeah, because he only needs that 1 more node. Nobody else is as close to him to retiring. So it's not, we won't give it to him. Maybe if we get any more later, then we'll consider it. But let's give this first one to Olympia. Olympia is the one who's really getting that rage. Okay. Continue that pile. Cackle. Well, not really a big deal that we're getting the activations, but he will come up nonetheless. Start to go west there. That'll come out. Continue that pile. Wow, that's a lot of activations. 5 Trireme resources, and then we will lose 1 Argo Fate. And that ends that pile. We don't have any Argo Fate to lose. And then we do an activation. Okay. So he got a lot of ground in that one. These ones will get shuffled back in. And we will move on to the expedition phase, but we have no expeditions on that map tile. Then we have the encounter step, nothing there. We have our negotiation step. Is there any technology that we want to use for negotiating? Bonuses, that's what I want. I may want to gain a crew here. We could gain a diplomacy with the Hornsworn as well. We're at 10 with them. That would give us some freedom to start choosing some Minoan options. We don't care about strangers. I don't think we care about trading either. We do also have a technology that allows us to ignore the first Argo Fate during a negotiation. So we can do one of these for free, basically. So we will do... I do want to double check something because for some reason I have this thing in my head where it's like, does the Argo Fate stack? Like, I haven't done a lot of negotiations, especially using multiple, but I have done it a couple of times. And I have this thing stuck in my head where it's like, oh, the first one costs you 1, and then everyone after that costs you an additional 1. But that would get super expensive for Argo Fate. And I don't think it's supposed to be that expensive. But I don't know. I don't see anything in the rule book that says that that would be the case. So we will gain 1 Argo Fate total, and we're going to gain 1 crew. And then we'll lose 4 mortal resources and gain a diplomacy with the Hornsworn. Let's lose, I mean, we keep getting trireme. So let's lose those. And then we will gain a diplomacy with the Hornsworn. Boom. Okay. I mean, I doubt we're going to be able to get to allied with the Minoans, but I mean, maybe we can at least get to friendly with them. That would be nice. We would need, I mean, even that would be, we would need 8 more diplomacy with them. And sometimes Minoan options just feel flat out wrong, so we'll see. Maybe we'll set the bar at neutral. Hopefully we can get to neutral. All right, let's go back to our map view here. Oh, actually, no, we need to do something for the story phase. Let me go grab some water really quickly, and then I'll continue. Oh, and before I do the pursuer, or before I do the story thing, I need to add the pursuer's pursuits end battle to our timeline here 4 days from now. Pursuits end again. All right. Because at that point we will have the combat research that will allow us to craft our Earthshaker Titan finally. I think there's a few things I did I would change about how I did this cycle. I think I should have gone down the Hecaton path for the technologies, because I think I could still have gotten to the Mazimer pretty quickly, although I still did need to get cores from Labby, and I wasn't getting them at the same rate that I was for Hecaton. No, I still had, I think I got 3 from him overall, and I used 1 on a Maze Runner and 2 on the Mazimer. So yeah, I think I did okay there. Anyway, but this is so late in the cycle to not to like be crafting an Earthshaker Titan. Also, we do have well, I'll get to that during the combat step, but like with the Temenos sighting ability, we do have the ability to craft a logic breaker Titan as well. So maybe we'll go into some of those Titans before the battle. I don't know, I'll figure that out. Actually, yeah, let me show the logic breaker Titan really quickly. I have not crafted one yet because I was waiting to see if I could get one for free from a hub adventure. Yeah, or like an Omega part of a hub, because I think one of the hubs gives a logic breaker Titan. Some cool artwork there. But yeah, logic breaker is pretty nice. He has a couple of super helpful abilities for this cycle, one of which, Theseus' logic, gain a fate and enduring voluntary movement. So this isn't just when you're moving because of like during your turn. It's not just your movement action, it's during any voluntary movement. So that could be reposition, that could be if you are performing pushback or something like that. It can be super helpful. But yeah, during voluntary movement, ignore an obstacle or chasm terrain tile. You cannot end your movement on an obstacle or chasm. So very nice ability, which allows you to kind of maneuver a lot more, especially against Temenos. Like this is each of the, what's it called? Each of the Titans is kind of, each of the Titans in a cycle is kind of represented or built to be themed around one of the primordials, right? So if we go to our Maze Runner Titan, who you need Labyrintharos cores to be able to craft, you know, she has some of that gear that you get from Labyrinthoros, but like, yeah, she excels at going through, like running through the maze tiles, and she gets bonuses from being on maze or just on terrain tiles in general. I think the theming is a little bit weaker for that one. For Logic Breaker, it's pretty strong. I mean, he looks awesome with all of the labyrinth-looking equipment on his artwork there and on his mini. But then he has a really strong ability called Logic Break, which is when you survive an obel, perform a combat action. And if I remember correctly on that ruling, it is treated as a bonus attack. It's really a combat action that you have to use immediately. And if you use it immediately, then I think it gets treated as a bonus attack, if I remember that whole rule correctly, because there was some back and forth on the awarding of this. And you can do it up to 3 times per round. So if you load up a bunch of second chance on Logic Breaker, then you can go for this build that's basically like, yeah, hit me. Oh, you hit me. I'm going to draw an obel. Oh, I'm going to like increases my chance of surviving this obel. Oh, I survived it. Okay, I'm going to do a bonus attack. It can be really powerful. There's also some risk to it too, because you may die, and you like Logic Breaker Titans, especially in Cycle 1, are not cheap to craft. Like I can only afford to craft 1, I think, and that's kind of why I was waiting to see if I could get one from a story hub, because you cannot have multiple Argo bred Titans of the same type. So you can't have multiple Logic Breaker Titans just in your Titan Stoa. Oh, actually, maybe the exception to that is if you get one from like a hub reward. So even if I crafted in, maybe I could actually get an additional one if we came upon that as a reward. I'd have to revisit that. That might be the case, so that way it's not just like you're just losing a Titan. Maybe I should do that. Well, I'm going to have to end up crafting one soon anyway. Maybe I'll still wait until closer to the Pursuit's End battle, but yeah. So he's pretty cool. I like him a lot. And then, all right, once we get the Earthshaker Titan, I'll go over his Titan sheet as well. But where are we at? We put the Pursuit's End battle on there, and now we're about to do the story thing from our story card here. So when we reach 12 or more progress tokens on this card, which we did, right? We are at 12. Flip it to side 4B. So it's mark 4B. And here we have our artwork here. I guess this is supposed to be King Minos. But you can see some of the tentacles coming out of Temenos there, a city getting destroyed. Our text says, Ariadne's anchor is complete. With time to spare, the scholars of the last academy can perfect the design. The ontological field seems to have more properties than just anchoring an object to reality. Some of the philosophers propose it may be used to conjure up a quote-unquote theater-like reality environment, a waking dream to explore the endless possibilities of life. But that is for the future. One day, the scholars find a giant Xiphos lying on the floor of the anchor's chamber, with no idea how it got there. Rules for this: we're now just trying to reach Knossos. But we get Theseus's Razor and the Temenos sighting technology card, unless you already have it. Oh, maybe I should just, maybe instead of trying to gun for Temenos sighting technology card through actually researching it, maybe I should just wait it until I got it through the progress, because I didn't get it that much earlier. Well, I doubt I'll be playing this cycle a third time, but never say never. Let's see, Theseus's Razor. Here we go. Oh, baby. This is a great weapon. I'm glad we got this before doing Pursuit's End again. This razor is a one-handed weapon that has 1 attack die, +3 precision, and hits with 4 red power dice. It has carving. I think carving is lame. It's I mean, I think we explained it in a previous fight, but it's like you do like a wisdom check of 6 or higher if you wound, and if you wound, you get one of the resources on that card, on that BP that you wounded. It has power reroll 1, which when you have 4 red power dice on your weapon, having a power reroll 1 is almost always going to be useful. During an attack, ignore labyrinth tiles for the purposes of line of sight and adjacency. When you are about to gain at least 1 despair token, roll a d10 per token. For each 6 or higher result, lower the gain by 1. So, let's talk about the negatives. It doesn't leave any tokens. That's it. That's kind of the only negative. Everything else about this weapon is pretty amazing. It's only one-handed, so you can give it to a tank and they can still have a shield. It has +3 precision, which is the best precision bonus we'll have on any of our weapons. And it hits like a truck. And it has power reroll. So, outstanding. Love that. I will probably end up giving that, I'm going to give it to Herodotus for now, although before the battle I'm sure I will be reorganizing some of these things for the loadout. Oh, actually, is there any text on Theseus' razor that we want to read? Oh, it just says, a knife so sharp. Cool. Love that. All right, so now we are going to, I think we said we're going to just continue heading west. Just mark off our timeline now. But we are going to be going to tile number 2. Find number 2 here. Ooh, get another Titan. We're maxing out our Titan Stoa. Check for hidden codes while we're here. I'm not seeing anything. I haven't found one in a while. Making me suspicious. Okay, I'm probably just missing some of the tiles that have them. Because I have a whole chunk of the middle of the map, excuse me, that doesn't have anything explored there. So, all right, we will go ahead and place this on our map. Boom, west. Go, we did our timeline step, we're doing our exploration step. So we'll gain that Titan. Then we will do our exploration cards. Oh, and when we put that battle on the map for the pursuer, we should have removed him. So take him off. We have Hidden Temple, gain 4 monument resources, and then you may gain 3 Argo Fate to gain a priest. I don't think I'll want to do that, but I'll check. 4 monument is nice. Priests. We have 3 priests. I mean, it could be a good idea to stock up on priests. Being at 4 Argo Fate may not be the worst. Let's see. We will get... So we're still a few days away from our combats, but I mean, between these 2 battles, we're going to be losing 4 Argo Fate. The only concern is if we don't need Argo Fate really for reducing adversary activation, so that's okay. We're not concerned about it for that. And we don't need it for reducing Doom necessarily, because we're still at 0 on our 3rd Doom card. I mean, we churned through Doom Card 2 quickly, but luckily, I mean, fingers crossed, Doom Card 3 is going pretty slowly. So, yeah, you know what? Let's just do it. We're going to gain 3 Argo Fate to gain a Priest. I think you can still carry Priests over between cycles. I don't know why you wouldn't be able to. But I'm going to be annoyed if you can't, because I'm not planning to use these Priests this cycle. It's more just like I'm going to save them up for when I need them eventually. Then we will go continue our exploration. This is going to be a new stack. And I'm less impressed by this card at this point in the cycle. Going to gain 9 Trireme, 6 Monument, and 3 Armament. Okay, that comes out. This will get shuffled back in. Boom. Let's see if I need to move this. I don't need that story card in front of me right now. We did exploration. We don't have anything for expedition, encounter, advancement, story, or doom. So we'll move on to the next day and continue traveling west. We're going to go to tile 1. Surely there's a code on the corner tile. We need the screen back up. I don't know, I'm not seeing any secret codes. Have I just gotten bad at finding them? Maybe I have. But yeah, no, I don't see anything. We do have an R&R adventure. Oops, there we go. Keep that up. Okay. Do our exploration. This is a Hornsworn tile. We are allied with them, so that'll be 4 armament. Then get 4 trireme. Like I said, that armament one, or that shipyard one, just keeps coming up all the time. Yeah, and then I'm going to go by the same ruling that I did before, where like, I mean, I have the timeline battle for the Pursuer. I think that just prevents me from spawning him. There's no rule that explicitly says that, but it seems weird to me that you would, I don't know, it seems like that's a benefit of you put it on the map and it's like, that's an extremely hard battle. You better be ready for it, but in those 4 days, you're not going to have to deal with the Pursuer. Because he does also, if you don't kill him, he does also spawn immediately following that battle, so. Give these a couple different shuffles here. Okay. All right, and now where are we at? Have anything on our timeline? Did I check the timeline step for today? Oh, I may not have. I think we're on day 64, right? We were on tile 4 when we started this video. That was on day 61, so 62, 63. This should be day 64. Cool. Exploration done. Expedition, we need to do our R&R adventure. Let's go ahead and roll a die, and then we'll figure out what that leads to. Go to our faded events, and then I will get the book out. Where do I want to go? There we go. Oh, Okay, we'll just say, and we could only choose between these two at this point, so we'll say it was a 6 to 10, so Lysistrata? Lysistrata? Yeah, we're doing that one. So check that one off, and then I have to find it in the book. R&R Adventures, where are you? What page are you on? 85. Now we need to go to number 7. Lysistrata. There are a lot of things about us women that sadden me, considering how men see us as rascals. It has come to this. Grown men playing women, grown women playing men. So playing children, really, and children, thankfully, lets out of the whole production. Argo presents Aristophanes' Lysistrata is a go. Hilarity ensues. If by hilarity you mean petty squabbles over costumes, stage design, lines, roles, and direction. As you look down upon the chaos of your own making, you wonder, how did it come to this? Was it pride? Misplaced sense of duty? No, you remember that night. There was wine and boasting, and this. You can't make a whip out of a lion's ass, you Coprius. I'll take that bet. Oh, that's Alcibiades. I'll take that bet, declares Alcibiades with a wry smile. Ah, so that's the lion tail whip explained. Lysistrata. There are a lot of things about us women that sadden me, considering how men see us as rascals. Collines, as indeed we are. You reap what you sow. In this case, you perform in a play about men going to war and women wanting to achieve peace through withholding sex. You know, your golden comedy standard. As you go through the motions, you start to question the play's egalitarian, pacifist message, which seems to strangely not be that egalitarian or pacifist. You see the actors not all that thrilled by the prospect of warmongering, and the actresses outright offended by Aristophanes' take on women. And then it strikes you. This is your ship, this is your play, and you're performing it. It can end however you like. As you veer wildly off script, you begin to feel something akin to pride. This is your play. This is your voyage. No matter what the tides bring or how fates conspire, it will end the way you want it to. A happy ending. Interesting. I wonder if that is supposed to be like a nod to some specific play. I don't really know plays at all very well, but I'm sure that that is maybe alluding to, I don't know, maybe some kind of like play from Shakespeare. But we'll subtract 2 Argo Fate and gain a crew. Very nice. All right, so that was our expedition. Now we are on advancement, which we have a structural, right? I think at this point, maybe we want to finally get that one that expands our Titan Stoa. Yeah, I don't think I care as much about advanced crew expansion at this point. No, okay. Yeah, Titan rearing, Titan limit 15. Oh, and what was that bonus? Oh, that's nice. Oh, if you win a battle that you started with less than 4 Titans. Oh, okay. I thought it was saying if you go into a battle with that. I was like, oh, you can prevent going into a battle with less than 4 Titans? That's amazing. No, that's not the case. Let me grab this really quickly. All right. And yeah, this is a set of rules and practices that will allow us to house more Titans effectively. With the new practices in place, we can expand our Titan roster. We can have up to 15 Titans. Great. And with that, we will move on to our next day. Go ahead and just check off the timeline step. we're going to end up going south here to tile, what is that, 6? Any hidden codes here? Come on. There has to be one. I'm sure I've missed at least a few hidden codes at this point. I have not found one since that one in like the far northeast corner of the map, I think. All right, yeah, I don't see anything on this one. We do have a progress token, but that is meaningless at this point. Go ahead and put this in our map. Oh, and then I should have moved the last visited city tile, because I did visit a city a while ago. Okay, we'll do our exploration cards here. How is an ant, like, just crawling around here in the dead of winter? Gross. Okay. Exploration cards. We need the screen. Oh, it is. Saw an extra card. Okay, Egyptian War Fleet. 6 6 trireme resources. And then lose an Argo fate. So Egyptian War Fleet, did we like just take them out, or is this like some shipwreck? Oh wait, what kind of tile is this? This is a Hornsworn tile. So yes, we can lose an Argo fate. Awesome. That ends that pile. Then this pile we have gain 1 Titan. Oh, I mean, we've lost a lot of Argo fate at this point. Maybe it's worth it for me to do a diplomacy check to see if we can get an additional Titan. Yeah, let's do it. Is that what that technology says? Titan hunting. Gain 1 Argo fate when the Argo is on a map tile with a Titan icon to test diplomacy of 7 or higher. Success, gain 1 Titan. Oh wait, that is... Oh, that's if you're on a... I see. Okay, nope, I cannot do this now. So we will just gain a Titan. And then we will choose an Argonaut to go to 1 rage. Do we have an adventure hub here? We do not. Ooh, I could risk giving it to Herodotus, but that would also risk losing it. I don't know. I don't think I'm going to do that, because I'm going to be using Forced Kratos Reaction as an Argo ability. So if I need to get Herodotus the what's it called? The priority target token, then I think we'll be able to do that using the Forced Kratos Reaction. So let's give it to maybe Telebacus or Solon. Telebacus or Solon. Let's do a die roll. I can't decide. All right, higher. Red is Telebacus. Blue is Anacreon. Whoever gets the higher roll wins and gets the rage. Anacreon gets it. Sounds good to me. Okay, continue that pile. Shipyard, again. It is like every time, without fail, I'm getting Shipyard. I don't know if it's a good thing or... I mean, I have too many trireme resources. I don't want them. And these will all get shuffled back in. I need to maybe going into the next cycle, I'll do another check on that ruling for like the timeline battle for the adversary, because maybe you are supposed to be able to spawn them. I don't know. It just logically makes sense to me. I just feel weird ignoring so many adversary activation symbols. But the fact that after the battle it says like spawn the pursuer or spawn the adversary on the map too, like it doesn't, I don't think it says if not already on the map, so it kind of implies that they shouldn't be on the map yet. All right, and then we're gonna have our expedition advancement. Do our advancement step, which is gonna be our Hecaton autopsy. Yes. Okay. Wow. Finally, we're going to get Hecaton autopsy. So this one says, we've been able to recover a mostly intact Hecaton carcass. The philosophers of the last academy think that by studying it, we may find its weakness. Hecaton autopsy allows us to craft the Earthshaker Titan, the Knuckle Shield, and Hecaton Panoply Armor. And we're going to be doing a lot of crafting this day so that we can prepare for that upcoming battle. So let's see, we're going to put this here. Let that sit there while I'm grabbing the cards. I think we will, yeah, the Hecaton Panoply Armor is pretty good. Probably want to craft one of those. So let's do the gear cards first. Hecaton Panoply Armor has 3 armor dice just right out the gate. And you can still reinforce it with 1, so you can get up to 4 armor dice. You can reduce knockbacks by up to 2, and that does stack. So if you have multiple pieces of gear that reduce knockback, you can reduce knockback by quite a bit. Let's see, crit evade, gain rocksteady until you finish resolving this card. Additionally, at 9 or higher danger, you have rocksteady anyway. Rocksteady allows you to just ignore knockdown. You can use that ability to ignore knockdown, and it's amazing. I love rocksteady. Hecaton Panoply Armor is fantastic. And the Pursuer does do a lot of knockback and knockdown, so that'll be a great armor to have. And then we have the Knuckle Shield, which also allows you to reduce suffered knockback by 1. It has an armor die, so I think all the shields that... Is that true? I think, yeah, all the shields that we've seen so far just have power reroll. Not power reroll, evasion reroll. This has an armor reduction. Oh my gosh, I can't talk. It has an armor die on it. So you can only use that armor die if the gear is not exhausted, but it's pretty nice. And even as an attacking weapon, it's not bad. If you had to attack with it, you don't really want to, because at this point in the cycle, you should have plenty of other gear that has better stats. You can do a BP suppress with it, like we saw on the Mazimer. And then for 2 fate and an exhaust, you can block with it. So that's one reason why you might prefer something like the Temenos Scale Shield, or I think like the Bull Aspis. The Bull Aspis I don't think had block on it, but the Smelted Aspis I think had block on it. And those are single fate and exhaust for a block. So we may not be using the Knuckle Shield, I don't think, but the Hecaton Panoply Armor, if we can craft it, almost certainly want to craft one of those. Oh, thank goodness. Could we craft 2? We could craft 2 if we wanted to. I'm going to make some decisions about that stuff soon, but I'm definitely crafting 1 now. Keep these off to the side. And then we will also be crafting our Earthshaker Titan. So first, let me go in and craft a, let's see, for this, okay, for the Earthshaker Titan, we're going to need to spend a Dreamwalker Titan and a Hecaton Core. Yeah, I think I'll just convert a Titan to Earthshaker. and spend a Hecaton core. And what is the one for, I forget where we saw this. Oh yeah, Titan breeding. How do we craft a logic breaker? Oh, it doesn't tell me on here. I have to go find the card. That's kind of annoying. What if I did this? I know it's on Knossos sighting. No. Come on. It's a little annoying. Oh, I gotta reach for these cards. Knossos sighting. Where are you? A prototype logic breaker Titan. So, if I remember correctly, prototype Titans, you can only craft them, you can only use this technology within this cycle to craft a logic breaker Titan. Because if you notice on this one, for instance, it just says Earthshaker Titan, whereas this one says prototype logic breaker Titan. If I remember correctly, this is a rule that they omitted from the rule book, or maybe it is in there and I just don't remember seeing it, but it means that prototype, you can only use this recipe, we'll call it, in the current cycle. So in future cycles, I think there's other ways you'll be able to craft logic breaker Titans, but you can't use the maze fragments to do it, because in this cycle they're a rare resource. In future cycles, maybe you can't get them at all, maybe they're a less rare resource, but you can't do that. So we have 10, I think, right? Yes. So we need to spend 6 of those, and then we will convert one of our Titans to a logic breaker. Unfortunately, we cannot craft a Maze Runner Titan, because that would be nice to have a Maze Runner, a logic breaker, an Earthshaker, and a, well, not and anything else, because those are the only 3 Titans we can get in this cycle. But here is our Earthshaker Titan. Oh, and I'll go get, while you're looking at the beautiful artwork for that, let me go get their minis, because we will need those soon. So the Earthshaker Titan, the most notable ability he has is 6-armed Centimanes. You have 3 weapon slots or 3 gear slot or 3 accessory slots. Both of these are great options. I think you will usually end up using that 3rd hand slot, but you can use that 3rd accessory slot. We will, us personally, be absolutely using that 3rd hand slot, because we finally have a Titan that can wield our Perisclipios. So we've had this for 2 game weeks now, maybe, am I overestimating that? No, yeah, because it was like right around where is when we fought Temenos, I think, that we evolved it. So we've had this for a while and we just have not been able to use it, but we finally have a Titan who can wield it. Amazing. Oh, and then additionally, let's look at some of his other thing here, his other trait, Cold Open. When you attack, if there are no opening or break tokens in the Kratos pool, place 1 opening and 1 break token in the Kratos pool. So Earthshaker is great if you're trying to use him as a tank. That's most often how I would use him, is as a tank, because you can have him wield a 2-handed weapon and a shield. You could even have him have a 1-handed weapon and 2 shields. That's a totally like reasonable strategy, because you could use him as a tank, and if he has 2 shields, each of them might have block, and you can do 2 blocks without having to unexhaust your stuff, or before you have to unexhaust your things, which is really nice. We will be using him as an attacker, because he's going to have Perisclipios, which is going to require all 3 of his hands. But what was I gonna say? Oh yeah, with Cold Open, he's a great Titan to start off with as the initial attacker because when you're starting a battle, you're probably not going to have Kratos tokens in the pool. Being able to just put one opening and one break in there is outstanding. Earthshaker Titan is just an overall excellent Titan. It's a crime we haven't gotten him until this point in the cycle. I did that with reason, but I don't know if that reason was good. So, all right, I'm going to pause this for a little bit while I think about crafting things and how I want to go into loadouts here for the upcoming battle. So let me cut to this view, and then you'll probably see it change, or let's go to this view, and then you'll probably see things change because I'm going to pause it, and then I'll have different things laid out at the bottom there. Okay, so I think I have things mostly set up how I want to for the battle with the Pursuer. I'll go into details of the loadouts before the start of battle itself, but I mean, also before that battle, I'll probably do another like check of everything, see if I want to swap anything around. But I did end up crafting another set of both the Hecaton Panoply armor and the smelted breastplate. So I think that took down my resources quite a bit for certain things. We go to our cargo. Oh, also, if I show my actual thing here. Before I jump over to cargo, I actually realized I never killed off my Maze Runner Titan. I know I don't have her, so I've been down. I've had one fewer Titan this whole time, and I forgot to mark it. So she's dead. I think I've been keeping up with the Titans otherwise, so we should be good there. But let's see if I go to, not timeline, but cargo. Yeah, we used up all of our muscle clusters. I think it was 14 of them. Oh, we used up all the infused mechanisms too. Oh, maybe I was already down to 0 on those. I think I might have been. Yeah, and we used up a lot of our armament as well. Still have a ton of trireme. Would love, this is where I might need to be trading things. I did actually trade at one point during the video, or the few days where I didn't have a video. I had forgotten to add an exploration card for the traders. So I added that, I ended up drawing that, and I needed to trade for some infused mechanisms, but in hindsight, maybe I should have just traded a bunch of trireme for some other resource. Regardless, yeah, so we have our, go back to this view. Oh, I'm gonna put this away. Yeah. I'll go into the details of the loadouts, I think, in the battle. I think that makes more sense. But I am using my last like special Dreamwalker that actually still has a pattern with the Aegis spread and the power armor reroll over there, so it'll be good for them. But yeah, all right, so I think we're done with the advancement step for this day. Jump back over to our timeline. Yeah, because we did our combat research already. That's how we got our ability to craft the Earthshaker Titan. So let's move on. Thinking, yeah, I think we're ready to move on to our next day, which is gonna be the last day. It's gonna be the day that we fight the it could be our last day. Could be the last day for some of these Titans. Hopefully not the last day for these Argonauts. But let's jump over, and I think we're gonna travel east here. I'm thinking I could go south and weave this way, but I think what I'll do is like just head back over this way, and then I don't know where I could go. Let's see, what day are we on? 60. We're about to be on 66, so this would be 6, 7, 8, 9, 70, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That'd be day 76 that we would get to Knossos. Sorry, dog hairs that I'm dropping. I don't know. I think I'll go this way. I think this makes more sense to me. Yeah, I'm gonna go east. All right, so on day 66, we head east. And we need tile number 7. Boom. And we are gonna get, where's one of the temples of the Minotaur? We're gonna get a doom symbol. I don't think I'm gonna try to prevent that. Oh, let me pull the booster seat up here. I can take a look at this tile because we are gonna need to look for secret codes as well. Here's the tile. Secret codes. I mean, this looks like a busy tile. This feels like there should be a code on here somewhere. I don't see anything. Yeah, maybe not. Okay. A bunch of seashells there. Yeah, all right. So we'll go ahead and put that on our map, and we'll move our Argo over onto that tile. We will gain our doom. I mean, actually, maybe we do want to just gain an Argo Fate to try to prevent this, because from this fight, we're going to be losing 2 Argo Fate anyway, so it's not really much to lose. So we would need a 6 or higher to prevent this gain. Where you here? 8, all right, sweet. This die, I'm not going to jinx anything. We do prevent that doom gain though, which is great. We'll do our exploration cards. So yeah, okay. Exploration cards. We have Untamed Titan. The Titan is nice. That Rage is better. That's awesome. Titan. And then Rage. Who do we want to give this Rage to? I could give it to Olympia, so probably want her tanking a bit, but I don't have good enough. I kind of want to give it to Oleander, but we have an adventure hub on this tile, which is kind of unfortunate because there is a risk that like we end up having to retire Oleander. But I think I am going to give it to Oleander. I mean, yeah, it is a risk potentially have. Oh, what am I talking about? It wouldn't even matter because Oleander wouldn't retire anyway until the story step. So at the very least, we would still have Oleander for this fight. So I'm going to give it to Oleander. So we now have 3 Argonauts starting with 1 Rage. It would be nice to give it to Telebacchus because Earthshaker Titan does benefit more from getting to 2 Rage early. I still may change some things around for, yeah, okay. Actually, I'm thinking about some things I might change around for the fight. So let's just continue on with this. We continue with this pile. Oh, hell yes. Gain a Titan and gain another Rage. Oh my gosh, that is too good. Well, also, if we lose this fight, then at least we still have a bunch of Titans. That was the other thing I was kind of worried about, is like if we if we lose the fight with the Pursuer, then it's like you're losing 4 Titans off the bat there. And I'm using I would be able to craft another Earthshaker Titan. I would not be able to craft another Logic Breaker Titan. So, yeah. But if we do have to fight him later, by the time we fight him again, there's some other weapons that we could at least replace Maze Rake. I think Perisclopios, Mazimer, and Theseus's Razor are like 3 of the best weapons you can get in this cycle. I mean, I think it's pretty rare to get Perisclopios in this cycle, so we're super lucky to have that. But Maze Rake is a weapon that I would reasonably want to swap out if we do lose this fight and need to face him again. So now I guess maybe I just give this one to Telebacus. And okay, actually no, I'm going to pause this because I do need to now put some more thought into if I want to change some loadout things before the fight. All right, here is what I am thinking. I'm probably going to give it to Olympia and bring her to 2 Rage, because while I would like to get to 2 Rage for Earthshaker's first attack, because that's when he doesn't leave any tokens at Rage 1, so it's tough to have him go at Rage 1. I can always use Forced Kratos Reaction for him to get him to 2 Rage, and having Ulysses start with 2 Rage will mean she will start with a priority target token and likely keep that token for the early part of the fight. And if I had to pick a Titan to die first, unfortunately, I mean, if I had to pick a Titan to die first, it would be Ulysses, because she has the worst weapon. Yeah, I think I like my rationale there. So I'm going to give that extra rage to Ulysses. Or Olympia. Okay. Cool. I mean, we're gearing up pretty well here. I do like where this is going. I feel like our chances are pretty good to go into this fight. If we're going to do it, now's the time. All right. Can we get more rage? No. 4 monument resources. I'm not going to gain that Argo fate. Let's gain 4 monument, and that'll end that pile. Start a new one. And 5 monument. Well, now that I have plenty of monument, now I really need more armament. Maybe. I actually don't even know what else I would want to craft. I don't remember what it takes to craft some of those other weapons that could come from the Hecaton Autopsy. Oh geez, I just dropped a bunch of these cards. Shuffle them again after picking them up. Okay. Exploration done. Expedition. We're about to do it. Let's roll a die and see what we get. It's a 0. That's definitely going to be Dreams Laid Bare. That's what I was hoping for. Okay. Dreams Laid Bare is page 74. Ooh, I apologize if I've been causing noise because I have my hood up right now. I don't normally film with it up because I think sometimes it can cause some noise on the microphone. So I just took it down. I apologize that there was noise those last few minutes. 74. Okay. And we need to roll it again, right? Oh. Okay. Why is there only... Oh, yeah, because I did one already. And I did those other ones in my last playthrough. Okay, so the only one that we don't have a faded box next to is Changing of the Guard. What does that give us? Supernatural. Oh, please don't cause that to have Oleander retire. I know we still have him for this fight, but I would like to keep him around probably for the rest of this cycle. Supernatural. Okay. Supernatural. Hey! We're 2/3 of the way to getting rid of that faded Nemos for Anacreon. Supernatural, no. Supernatural, no. Okay. Cool. All right, story time. Wait, where is it? Change. I was looking for the title Supernatural, and I was like, why am I not finding it? Okay, Changing of the Guard. That's the one that we're doing, right? No, I just want to confirm. Yes. Okay, get some water really quickly. Okay. With the memory of the Temenos destroying the city of Katozakaros still fresh in your mind, you stop at a village where Theseus' confidant, Nikepharos, is rumored to have oh, wait a minute. It's nice. Wait a second. Oh, okay, no. I was like, did we read this one already? No, it's just this whole adventure hub, I guess, is about Nikepharos. Okay. I really hope I didn't do something out of order. You stop at a village where Theseus' confidant, Nikepharos, is rumored to have stayed. It's a nice change from the bustling metropolises, hills, and fields rolling in the countryside. It would have been peaceful to look at, if not for the grotesque painting the maze has turned it into. Ungodly symmetry, straight lines, and sharp angles. Once you reach the settlement, your scouts report that a group of black labyrinthians, the self-proclaimed priests of the maze, control this region. You've heard of them. More driven, more fanatical, black-clad. It seems that they have chosen this village to organize some cruel games and their participant victims, its inhabitants. Games where people are forced to fight each other, to walk into traps. You even hear about one where the victims were cast down into a pit with a famished and brutalized titan. One of your scouts has more insight. The people targeted for those games are usually the Minoan nobility who ruled this land with an iron fist all those years ago. Yes, but how many years ago? Help me with the timeline, people. If the Minoan guide is with you, she urges you to stop this masquerade. If you choose option 1, make an Akakala's tally mark. No, we don't really care about the tally marks, I don't think, at this point. Alright, option 1. You learn that the Black Labyrinthian's next target is Philostratos, an old Minoan noble who is rumored to have struck a deal with Athens and helped Theseus when he arrived on Crete. You pay Philostratos a visit before the Black Labyrinthians do. That gives us Minoan's diplomacy +1. Option 2. Your spies have found the Black Labyrinthians' hideout. It may be worth taking a look, especially since most of those cultists will be away, busy hunting Philostratos. You search the hideout. Okay. I mean, it would be nice to go talk to this guy. I mean, really, it would be nice just to get Minoan diplomacy. Yeah, let's just do option 1. Why not? If only for the sake of Minoan diplomacy. For the sake of the Minoans! I'll probably lose something with the Labyrinthians or Hornsworn or something. See paragraph 36. Okay, grab some water. Philostratos' house is easy to locate, and his guards let you in without a word. You find the nobleman in his court. He is kneeling in front of a shrine dedicated to Athena. I knew you would come eventually, Argonauts. The Black Labyrinthians will target you next. He laughs. I'm aware of that, but there is nothing an old man like me can do. My guards will not be able to stop them, and my power over this land has dwindled to a handful of sand. I will receive no help, and I will not survive these games. He looks back to the shrine. Such is the will of the gods. If Minoan Guide is with you, see 67. Go to 67. Surely, wise Philostratos, there is still hope, Akakala says. The Argonauts have a mighty ship. You could come with us. We could take the other nobles and leave this settlement. You could start a new life in Knossos. Philostratos looks at her for a moment. The sweet optimism of youth. I used to be like that once, he smiles softly. Alas, dear princess, my time has run out. If the games are not my undoing, I will have to live with the knowledge that I, like most of the dynasty, was an unknowing architect of Crete's fate. I will stay here. Gain an Argo fate and place a progress token on Inward's Odyssey. We'll just take the negative part of that with an Argo fate. And return to 36. When you ask him about the rumored deal with Athens, he shrugs. It is true. The Athenians and I came to an understanding a long time ago. I wanted power, and they wanted me to help one of them. Who? He smiles softly as if looking at a child. Oh, Theseus, of course. An Athenian noble, an outsider. He had no friends here. Gain 1 progress token. Does not affect us. You talk with Philostratos until it gets dark. You should be going, Argonauts, he says. They might come to get me tonight, and I don't want you to get caught up in that. You still wish to convince him to escape with you. He could tell you more about Theseus and Athens. I don't really care that much about him escaping with us, but sure. Leader tests will. Oh, we have to choose a leader here. Leader tests will of 10 plus. Each Argonaut may gain 1 fate to add +1. So I did double check the rules, and you do choose the party leader when it first instructs you to like reference the party leader. So I think we can just choose now freely based off the information we have. Who is going to have the best will? Maybe Telebacchus? Definitely Telebacchus. Yeah, let's make him our party leader. Each Argonaut may gain 1 fate to add +1. I don't think I want to. Because I do not care that much about passing or failing this test as much as I care about not gaining fate before this fight. So we're just going to go into this roll. Let's gain, I'll move this over here. We need our red die. So we need an 8 or higher to succeed. That's a 1. I'm not even going to re-roll that. Fail. Philostratos looks at you sadly and shakes his head. I won't survive much longer. Leave before the Black Labyrinthians draw you into their sick games. All right. We're going to gain a doom here. What we said we have timeline. Yeah, okay. Let's see if we can prevent this doom. We need a 6 or higher. That's a 3. We do not prevent it. So we will gain a doom. And yeah, okay, looks like we return to the voyage phase now. All right. So with that, we end our expedition phase and find ourselves in the encounter phase where we are going to do the pursuits and battle for the 2nd time. Yeah, we have another attempt at this. I'm trying to think, like the information I got from the first fight, like we know the layout of the thing more, and it has a lot of ambrosia tiles on there. Ambrosia wasn't really my biggest problem in the first fight. Like it really hasn't been a major problem with the fights that I've had with the Pursuer. And I remember it being a problem in like Menestus Theater fights against higher levels of the Pursuer. And I don't know if that's just a way luck has kind of gone, that I haven't really been getting a lot of ambrosia in those fights, but I haven't done anything to build around higher ambrosia limits or like preventing. I don't even think I can prevent ambrosia with the stuff that I have. but I haven't geared up with the idea of Ambrosia being a problem. So I could see that being a way that we really blow this fight, is with gaining a lot of Ambrosia, whether it's from going through terrain tiles and knockback and all that kind of stuff. But we'll have to hopefully think about avoiding some of that with good positioning. But we will end this video here, and I will see you in the next video where we come down to this hopefully final battle with the Pursuer. Take care.